Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mindful Influences, where we explore the invisible forces shaping how you think, feel, and act. Today, we're going to talk about something that you encounter every single day, and that's persuasion. We're bombarded with messages that try to sway us, whether it's an ad for the latest gadget, a social media post, or urging us to take a stance, maybe a politician delivering a stirring speech. But beneath the surface lies a fascinating toolkit of psychological tactics that are designed to influence our thoughts and our behaviors, often without us realizing it. These are the techniques of persuasion, and once you see them, you can't unsee them again. So buckle up because we're about to pull back the curtain on the science of persuasion. First, what is persuasion exactly? Simply put, persuasion is the art of influencing somebody to think, believe, or act in a certain way. Now, it could be as innocent as a child convincing their parents to extend bedtime, or as calculated as a political campaign trying to sway your vote. The science behind the persuasion? It's all about targeting the subconscious mind, that part of your brain that reacts to cues without you even realizing it consciously. So, how does this work? Well, that's a really good question. One powerful tool is something hypnotists and marketers know very well, and it's called suggestibility. And for those of you that haven't taken the suggestibility test, just click back in this YouTube channel a few videos and you'll find that. Suggestibility is your brain's openness to being guided by external cues. I like to define it as open to new thoughts, ideas, and concepts. But the trick is to make the suggestion stick without the person consciously resisting it. So let's take a look at one of the early persuasion techniques, and that is the power of repetition, or some people refer to it as the echo effect. Have you ever caught yourself humming a jingle or recalling a slogan days after seeing an ad? That's the power of repetition. Because marketers and communicators know that the more we hear something, the more likely we are to not just remember it, but internalize it. Because repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity breeds trust, even when we're not consciously aware of it. Here's some examples in action. Politicians often use simple, memorable phrases like build back better, or yes, we can, or make America great again. When repeated often enough, these slogans stick, making their messages impossible to ignore. Repetition lodges ideas into your subconscious mind until they feel natural. They've always been true. It is this habitual repetition that also creates habits. And habits are nothing more than thoughts or actions that you keep thinking or doing over and over again. And this works in advertising too. You know very well Nike's Just Do It, or It's the Real Thing, or Who's the King of Beers? So the next time someone says, I'm loving it, and you're choosing to hum the McDonald's tune, your brain has already completed the connection for you. You don't even have to think twice to recall these things because they've been played and repeated for years and years. So, how do you spot this? Think about the messages that you've been exposed to recently. Are you hearing certain phrases or slogans played on a loop? If so, ask yourself, does repeating this make it true? Or am I just used to hearing it more? Next up is emotional anchoring. Now, this is when persuasion ties an idea to a powerful emotion. And that emotion can be pride, it can be fear, it can be hope, or it can be anger. Humans are emotional creatures, and our emotions are powerful decision-making drivers. Emotions drive behavior. So when we anchor an emotion to a message or a product, to a strong feeling, whether it's hope or fear or pride or nostalgia, it makes it much more persuasive. And when we feel deeply, we tend to act impulsively. So here's some examples. Let's start with political ads. Let's say you have a campaign ad showing a bright future tied to one particular candidate or dire consequences if the other guy wins. This is designed to evoke emotions like hope or fear. And these feelings bypass our logic and push you toward action by triggering your fight or flight response. They focus you on the action they want you to take, like voting for their candidate or supporting their cause. You also might find charity appeals. Have you ever seen those heartbreaking images of children or animals in need accompanied by a donation plea? These visuals anchor the message to your sympathy. Notice when you feel a strong reaction to a message, and then pause and ask yourself, am I reacting to the message itself, or is it just the emotion that it's making me feel? Identifying emotional appeal allows you to assess them from a rational perspective. Practicing grounding yourself before you make decisions. Take a moment to step back and say, what's the core message here without the emotion? Another effective tool is social proof or the bandwagon effect. I mean, everybody's doing it, shouldn't you? This is the underlying principle of social proof. And this technique leverages our tendency to follow the crowd, assuming that if others approve, well, something, it must be good, right? Social proof is why reviews and likes and testimonials and influencer endorsements are so effective. And you can see it everywhere in product marketing. When a company advertises that 95% of the customers recommend this product, it makes you think, well, maybe I should try it too. And that's why you'll see ads saying 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this toothpaste. And in the world of social media, influencers leverage social proof when they say 500,000 people use this product. Why aren't you? What's the message here? The message is, wow, I might be missing out. FOMO, right? And the real kicker, even if you resist consciously, the idea might have already stuck into your subconscious mind. Companies spend billions to create associations between their product and positive emotions like happiness and success and nostalgia. Have you ever noticed how often car ads show families driving out into the sunsets? That's not by accident. It's subliminal persuasion. And social media influencers use it too. By promoting a product with thousands of likes and comments, it subtly suggests that you're missing out if you don't join in. Let's look at crowd cues. When you have applause or cheers during a public speech or a debate or a game, you can convince yourself that the speaker's ideas are widely accepted, even if you personally disagree. And they'll repeat key phrases until you can't forget them. They'll use emotional anecdotes to sway your beliefs. And then applause tricks you into thinking that everybody is agreeing. That is social proof at work. So, why is it that these methods are so effective? Because they tap into our subconscious. This is the part of our brain that operates on instinct rather than deliberate thought. This is the part of our brain that houses our imagination. And repetition is how this part of the brain learns. It creates mental shortcuts. This is how our brain stays efficient. It creates emotional anchoring that triggers instinctual reactions. And then social proof, well, it appeals to our deep-rooted desire, our need for belonging. And when we combine these techniques, they can be incredibly persuasive and even manipulative. So, understanding this doesn't mean that we should reject all marketing, all political campaigns, or social messaging. Instead, it's about becoming mindful consumers of information. And that's really what this channel is all about. Acknowledging the influence, but making decisions on our own terms. And the better you understand these tactics, the less vulnerable you are to them. Just knowing that these techniques exist already makes you less susceptible. So let me give you a few tips on how to stay in control. First, be curious. When you encounter a persuasive message, don't just accept it at face value. Ask questions like, why are they asking me to feel this way? Why? And most importantly, what do they stand to gain? Number two, take your time. Pause before making big decisions because persuasion often relies on urgency so that it bypasses your critical thinking, your logic. So whenever you see a message leveraging popularity, pause and ask yourself, is this genuinely valuable to me? Or am I being influenced by the crowd's approval? And then look for data to validate claims instead of taking popularity at face value. Number three, seek out multiple perspectives. Don't rely on a single source of information. Explore different viewpoints so that you get a broader, fuller, more complete picture. And number four, limit your exposure. Reduce mindless scrolling and intentional exposure to environments that you know are filled with persuasive messaging. A little distance can go a long way to help you regain clarity and focus. The world is full of invisible forces that is vying for your attention and your decisions, but you have the tools to decode them. So the next time you see an ad, a campaign, or a viral trend, take a moment to pause and reflect because awareness is your best defense. And you know what? It's okay to be influenced. We're human, after all. But staying mindful of how and why you're being influenced puts the power back in your hands. So I want to ask, did any of these techniques surprise you, or have you spotted them before in action? Share your thoughts in the comments section below because I'd love to hear from you. This has been Mindful Influences, and I'm so glad that you joined me today. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe if you want to see more deep dives into the unseen forces that shape our world. And remember, stay mindful, stay empowered, and don't be afraid to question the influence around you so that you thrive. See you next time. I'm Roberta Fernandez.